The school bell rings very loud in the morning, and the sound is everywhere in the big school building today and now. The children walk very fast in the long hallway because they want to see their friends and talk and play games together. There is a lot of noise and many laughs and many different voices together in the school hallway during the early morning. But one girl walks very slowly near the cold wall, and she is very quiet and she does not talk to anyone. Her name is Emily and she is 10 years old. And she is a very small and very shy girl in this school. She wears a simple blue jacket and old shoes, and she walks with her head down because she is very afraid today. Her backpack is very heavy and a little broken, and she carries many books for her math and her history classes now. She looks at the floor and she sees the shadows of the other happy children who are running and jumping and laughing. She feels like a small ghost in the big school because no one says hello or smiles at her in the hallway. Emily reaches the door of her classroom and she takes a deep breath because she feels very nervous and very lonely. She looks at her small hands and she looks at her old shoes and she thinks about her house and her room. The classroom is very big and there are many desks and many chairs and many colorful pictures on the white walls today. Emily walks slowly to the back of the room and she sits in a small wooden chair near the big glass window. She puts her heavy backpack on the floor and she takes out a notebook and a small yellow pencil to write. Other kids talk and laugh and share many stories about their toys and their families and their new video games. No one looks at Emily and no one says hello to her or, "How are you today, Emily?" In the big classroom now, she opens her notebook and she starts to draw small flowers and small trees because she wants to hide her face. The teacher walks into the room and the teacher is a tall woman with a big book and a kind face today. The teacher says, "Good morning, class. Please open your books to page 10 and start reading the story about the stars." Emily opens her book very slowly, and she looks at the numbers, but she is thinking about her lonely heart. She looks at the clock on the wall, and she sees the minutes moving very slowly, and she feels very sad inside. The teacher asks a very difficult question about the stars, and Emily knows the answer in her small and smart head now. She raises her right hand very slowly because she is very shy and she is very afraid to speak in class. The teacher does not see her, and the teacher says, "Does anyone in this room know the answer to my question?" Emily waits and she waits, but the teacher looks at the other children who are sitting in the front seats. Another child answers the question and everyone claps their hands, and Emily feels very invisible and very sad in her heart. She puts her hand down on the wooden desk and she looks at her old shoes under the small table today now. Her eyes are a little wet and she wants to cry, but she takes a deep breath and she looks at the window. She stays quiet and she writes in her notebook with her small pencil for many long and very silent hours today. She counts the minutes and she counts the seconds because she wants to go home to her quiet house. The bell rings for lunch and the sound is very loud and very happy for all the other kids in the school. Kids run to the cafeteria very fast because they are very hungry and they want to eat and play with friends. They are happy and they run together, but Emily walks alone with her lunch tray in her small hands today now. The cafeteria is a very big room and it is very loud with the sound of many people and many chairs. There are many long tables full of kids and friends sit together and they share their delicious and good food. Emily looks around the big room for a place to sit, but she does not see a friend or a small smile. Every table is full of people, and no one calls her name or says, "Come sit here, Emily, with us today." Some kids look at her, and they turn away because they do not want to talk to the quiet girl in school. Emily walks to a small table in the far corner of the room where it is very quiet and dark now. She sits down alone and she looks at her food, which is very simple and very small in her tray. She has a small sandwich with cheese and a green apple, and she opens her lunch bag very slowly with fingers. Emily eats her sandwich in silence, and she looks at the other kids laughing and playing and talking at tables today. Some kids point their fingers at her and they whisper secrets and they laugh at her old and broken blue jacket. Emily thinks, I want to have a friend to talk to because being alone is very hard and sad for me. She pretends she does not see them, and she looks at the gray wall because her heart is hurting. Her hands shake a little bit, and she drops a small piece of bread on the cold cafeteria floor today and now. She picks it up very fast, and her face is very red with shame, because she feels everyone is watching her. Every day is the same for Emily, and she always eats her lunch alone in the dark corner of the school. No friend sits with her, and no one asks, "Are you okay, Emily? Or are you a happy girl today?" She finishes her green apple, and she cleans her table, because she is a very polite and very good girl. She looks at the other children, and she sees a group of girls sharing cookies and talking about a birthday party. She sees a group of boys talking about football, and she hears their loud voices and their big and happy laughs. Emily feels like she is on a different planet because no one talks to her and no one looks at her. She takes her tray and she walks to the trash can to put her trash away, and her head is down. She walks back to her small table and she sits and she waits for the bell to ring again today. The sun is shining outside the window, but inside the cafeteria, Emily feels very cold and very lonely in her heart. She thinks about her mother, and she thinks about her house where it is safe and where she is loved. Now, she remembers her old school in a different city where she had a friend named Sophie who was very kind. She misses Sophie and she misses her old life because being the new girl in this school is very difficult. Emily closes her eyes for 1 minute and she dreams about a friend who comes to sit at her table. One day a new girl comes to the school and her name is Anna, and she is a very kind girl. Anna has kind eyes and a very soft smile, and she is wearing a new yellow dress and white shoes. She feels a little scared in the new place because she does not have any friends in this big school. At lunchtime, Anna takes her tray and she looks for a seat in the big and loud cafeteria today. She sees many full tables and she sees many kids talking and laughing and eating their big lunch today now. Then she sees Emily sitting alone in the far corner, and Emily is looking down at her simple food in silence. Anna stops walking and she thinks for a long moment because she sees the big sadness in Emily's small face today. She decides to walk to Emily's table, and she walks slowly with her tray and her yellow dress near the girl. Anna looks at Emily and she asks in a very kind and very sweet voice, "Can I sit here?" Emily looks up very fast, and she is very surprised because no one talks to her in this big school. Emily's eyes are very big, and they are full of a new hope, and a very small and happy smile now. She nods her head and she says, "Yes, you can sit here," and she feels very warm inside her heart. Anna sits down and she says, "My name is Anna. I am new here, and I am a little scared." Emily looks at her and she says, "My name is Emily. Do not be afraid. This school is big." Anna smiles and she says, "Thank you, Emily. You are very kind to let me sit at your table today." They eat together, and Anna starts to talk about her old school and her old house and her old friends. Now, Emily listens to Anna and she feels very special today because a person is talking to her at the table. Emily starts to talk too and her voice is very soft, but she has many things to say to Anna today. She says, I like drawing flowers and I like reading books about animals and magic and many stories. Anna listens and she says, I like drawing too. Maybe we can draw together after school today, Emily. Anna takes a cookie from her bag and she gives half of the cookie to Emily. And she says, eat this. Emily takes the cookie and she says, thank you, Anna. This cookie is very delicious and I am very happy. They talk about the teacher and they talk about the lessons and they laugh together. For the first time now, the corner of the cafeteria is not dark or quiet or sad anymore because the two girls are happy. They share their food and they share their stories and they share their smiles in the big school cafeteria today. Other kids in the cafeteria look at the table in the corner and they see the two girls laughing together. Some kids feel very bad inside their hearts because they remember the girl who was always alone and very sad. They see Emily smiling and they see her talking and they feel a lot of regret in their hearts today now. The next day at lunchtime, another girl walks to the table and she says, can I sit too? Emily looks at Anna and they both smile and they say, yes. Please sit here with us today, friend. Then another boy comes and then another girl comes and the table is not empty or quiet or dark anymore. Emily is not alone anymore and her smile is very real and very bright and very big and very happy. She wears her blue jacket, but she does not look at the floor because she has many good friends now. This is the story of a girl who ate alone and felt the pain of the silence in school. This is the story of how one person can be kind and change the life of another person. Anna and Emily are best friends now and they walk together in the long hallway of the big school building. They study together and they play together and they never eat lunch alone in the dark corner of cafeteria. Emily is a very happy girl and she raises her hand in class and she talks to the teacher now. The other children are also more kind because they saw the example of Anna and her big and good heart. Kindness is a very big power and everyone can use this power to make the world very good today.